Okay, I thought I'd go over the season pass. Now, there's a lot of things I haven't tested. I had a bunch of errands to do today, and I came back pretty tired. But however, there's not like a whole lot of material content in the season pass, so the longer that I can kind of drag it out, the better. Now, the first thing I should warn people about is the challenge mode. I have not actually played it yet, but I've watched some other streamers play it. And basically, the thing that we were all excited about was having, unique weapons and abilities and stuff. Basically, the only thing you can get from it is these weapon elements here, which you can also just get from the warrior training or the summer camp, whatever you want to call it. So there's basically no point to this. I mean, it's fun. Someone has already figured out like what seems to be the best setup. I will probably be testing that out on stream once I explore the rest of the content. But for now, it just seems like kind of a waste of money. The season pass, I think the most expensive thing is the Sacred Treasures, which I'm going to go over a couple of those right now. I know most of you are also subscribed to Grow870 because we tend to play a lot of the same games, and he went over them earlier, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But that's the most expensive thing in the season pass, and I can definitely tell you from maybe about the hour or so that I played this morning off camera and off stream that they are definitely worth the money. But however, they come in halves. So right now we have half of the Sacred Treasure upgrades, and then we're going to get the next half later on. It's the same thing with the DLC as well. So you have these 5 here. This one is pretty awesome for like grinding and stuff because of all the unique officers you fight. I haven't touched the other ones, as you can see here. So there's going to be another 5 of those, and then there'll be another 8 of the Sacred Treasures. So it's like half and half right now. Also on the 29th, we're supposed to be getting the Bridge Melee, which will hopefully have something actually worth like grinding for, because right now the game is definitely missing that, as I've gone over in the past. So I'll go over a couple of the Sacred Treasures right now. I know people are anxious for my opinion and stuff. I just wasn't able to get to it till now. So the Caduceus basically just becomes the harp. It's personally great for him because it allows you to do the Helmbreaker and then come right down. And then the heavy one is like a giant, like, magic spear volley. Pretty awesome with Windstorm, as you can see here, but the officer that spawns in the training room basically dies to being sneezed on, so that situation is not going to happen that often. Now the Mjolnir, a lot of people said this was one of the worst Sacred Treasures. I never really used any characters with it, but this one is pretty fun. Basically gives you Strider Ouroboros. And the charge one is kind of just like a bigger version of the same thing. Now, finally, the boots. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this at length, but the boots are one of the worst Sacred Treasures for a number of reasons, mostly the really bad hitboxes and the way that the damage was distributed, meaning that you couldn't really do as much damage as the other Sacred Treasures without having extreme luck or really good positioning. That's been changed here. So the light attack is basically, it's kind of like a hyper attack or Godspeed attack with the Samurai Warriors characters. Now, like most light magic attacks, it doesn't do much damage. The main advantage here is that it's kind of hard to start a combo with it, but you can actually counter magic reliably now. You could not do that before with this. Like, say this officer right here was about to cast magic and you're using the regular boots. The kick would basically go towards the end of that peon back there, the little sliver of health left, and you can't hit them out of it. Now, you just have a direct attack, so you can actually start defense. This is one reason why I wish they had like a larger officer with more health, so I could actually show how it works. You can't cancel out of it. You can basically just do the 4 attacks and that's it. It's got a lot of recovery. What this weapon really, what this revived treasure, or revised treasure actually shines with, is the aerial one. Now, if you remember old school Ling Tong, like we're talking like Dynasty Warriors 5 and Orochi 1 and 2 era, remember he had that big ass like foot stomp for C4 that was elemental, that destroyed everything? That's basically what this is, but it has an even more exaggerated hitbox. And you can also do it from the air as well. Let me go ahead and recharge here. So this fixes the problem of the original Talaria's heavy magic attack, where basically it did do damage, but the hitbox was like very strict, and also it distributed the damage throughout multiple hits, so it's very difficult to even kill a Chaos Origin in some situations. You basically had to have a maxed out skill tree, all the abilities that increase your Sacred Treasure damage, and even then sometimes it would be stuck with a sliver of health. And then if you did it on an officer, usually what happened is they would get hit a couple times and then go flying off. So being able to just do this right away means you can just tack on the damage instantly. I actually tested this on the DLC map. If you have like 1,000, if you have the 1,000 hit combo damage bonus or damage buff, it actually does pretty good damage overall. So you can also do stuff like that too. You can kind of jump cancel. So I like the Caduceus a lot, because the normal magic attack on the Caduceus kind of had the same problem that the Talaria did, where the hitbox was really weird and you couldn't always hit things directly in front of you, so like countering magic and things like that was very difficult. But now you have this grouping. It doesn't do any damage, but most of the normal magic attacks do basically pixels for damage anyway, so a lot of the good Sacred Treasures are basically good because of the utility. Either they moved you far, or they were able to start a combo really easily. So with Zhao Yun here, it actually works quite well because it allows him to continue combos a lot easier. Do stuff like that. Also, another thing that's nice about this is if you get hit with a Sacred Treasure attack, I don't know if I covered this in the overview, but you can actually cancel. Your Sacred Treasure is basically a burst. So the Talaria having this now is actually pretty nice because you can basically go really far away from an officer that's hitting you and try to mount the new offense. So if you're curious how you switch the Sacred Treasures, it's basically done in a pretty simple way. You just go to the menu and you can switch back and forth. Like here's the Caduceus and here's the Alpha one. Now I'll go ahead and I'll show the Scythe before I sign off here, and then I'll probably put up some raw gameplay later after I've had a little bit more time. The Scythe is a good testament for why these aren't just straight upgrades. The Scythe and the Trident, respectively, are the ones people are saying the original versions are better. But they do have some unique things to them. And of course I didn't switch to it as I'm talking about it. The muscle memory's gone. Alright, there we go. So the Scythe, the normal magic attack is basically this thing, which is kind of like the Levitain. And you can't cancel out of it. However, I heard if you play as Lu Linky, you actually can guard cancel out of it, which sounds pretty cool. So we'll try that in a minute. We'll do a little bit of science here, since I haven't really had a lot of time to play this today. So the heavy magic attack is basically just the Tridents. Same deal here. Go ahead and do that again. So some people are still running the regular Scythe, mainly because of that reason. Like it's not like a straight upgrade like a lot of the other ones are. It's more of a matter of preference. So let's go ahead and try that with Linky really quick. So since you can switch between them at will, you know, if you have two characters with the same treasure, you can actually run both versions if it's one of the treasures that actually is not just a straight upgrade like the Talaria. Well, actually, no, it doesn't seem like you can guard cancel. I'm not sure what that video was I saw earlier. Alright, well, I will go over the other ones later. I just wanted to get this out. I know people were expecting it like minute 1 like usual. The DLC came out at like 2 in the morning my time, and then I woke up and played it for an hour, and then I had to go out and do a bunch of errands and stuff. So I'm kind of just getting around to it now. I will put up some more like gameplay of the DLC and stuff probably in the future. Right now, it seems like it's pretty good for maximization. However, all the levels capped, the DLC levels capped at level 45. And like I said, we're supposed to be getting another half next month, so maybe those will be the true endgame ones. I don't know why they're splitting it up. I mean, it's like they're recycled assets. I guess they kind of want to make it seem like it's more worth your money. The only thing that's really worth the money so far is these DLC levels, because they have a lot of officers and they're quite a bit longer than the typical levels in this game, which you can finish most of them in like under 15 minutes. Yeah, and the Sacred Treasures are nice because they make a lot of the characters with trash treasures actually more playable. But the challenge mode is basically just a waste of money. There's really no reward for it at all. The only reward is something you can easily just get from the warrior training, and I already gave you guys a really quick method to go through the warrior training in like a matter of 10 minutes. So if that was the only reason you wanted to do it, then I don't recommend buying the challenge mode if you're only going to buy things separately. The mount is kind of worth it. You get the fastest mount in the game. I haven't actually tested the other ones. Maybe I'll do that later. But everyone pretty much just seems to be running this one, because if you're not running Samurai Warriors characters with max agility, then this is still going to be faster than pretty much anything the Dynasty Warriors characters or the Mystic characters can do. So the other ones seem like they're just kind of there. So whether the amount is worth it or not is debatable. The Sacred Treasures, I believe, are $12. The challenge mode is $5, and I think the DLC is like $7 or something for the extra levels. So you could probably go with just the Sacred Treasures and the levels for now. They're making us wait about a month for the extra challenge mode, but I really don't have high faith in it at this point, because the challenge mode, for all intents and purposes, is basically pointless. You don't really get anything for it. If you have a competitive spirit, then you can try to find the best builds and stuff, but I was watching a Korean streamer play this earlier, and he already found like what seemed to be the best strategy within like a couple hours of it coming out. So there's not really a whole lot of substance there. You know, the pages for the DLC on the various platforms that this is available on, they're all talking about how it's supposed to have new elements and weapons, and basically there's been nothing to show of that so far. There's basically just the exclusive elements from the summer camp, and there's no weapons to be found, so maybe the bridge melee will have something like that. I will update you guys on that when there's more information. Anyway, that's it. I'll put up some more DLC footage later. Peace.